Yamuna Tira Vanachari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Govindaya Namo Namah. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatham Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you everybody and welcome to the Sunday Feast Festival at ISKCON Scarborough. Anybody coming for the first time? Thank you. We welcome you to our program. Okay, so today we'll be reading from Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to read from, I'm sorry again, please excuse me, I'm struggling a bit without my glasses, which I broke accidentally this morning. So bear with me. It's very interesting verse. So reading from chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized. And we'll be reading one of the very famous verses, 2.7. Karpanya dosho, you can sing along if you know. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichami tvam dharma sammudacheta yachesya nishchitam bruhitam me shishyasteham sharimam tvam prapantam. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Now I'm confused. Sounds familiar? Now I'm confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Purport. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. In every step there is perplexity, and therefore it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance for executing the purpose of life. All Vedic literatures advise us to approach a bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of life, which happens without our desire. It is going to happen. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of life automatically appear without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place, and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the science of solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities. One should approach a spiritual master. That is the purport of this verse. We'll stop reading. It's a long purport. We'll discuss on this verse. So in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami nicely explains multiple qualities of Shri Krishna. And one of the qualities that he explains is that Krishna is a very pleasing talker. When Krishna speaks, no matter what kind of philosophy, and no matter to which audience he speaks, is very pleasing to hear. He never speaks with a way to offend anybody. He never speaks to confuse anybody. As much as an ordinary living soul may feel, oh, this Gita is so complicated. There are so many verses and there is so much philosophy. But it's very simple when you try to understand the heart of Gita. So Rupa Goswami helps us understand this through nectar of devotion, which is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And he says that Srila Prabhupada's, Lord Krishna's biggest quality is that he is very pleasing talker. Even to Kaliya. You all have heard of Kaliya?
Yeah.
Okay. So when Kaliya came and troubled the Brajvasis through his, poison, he made the whole Yamuna poisonous and he troubled everybody. He got a dancing treatment from Krishna, right? Krishna danced on his hoods. And then he was injured and he was kind of let go. Krishna didn't sort of kill and liberate him. But because the Nagapatnis requested, Krishna let him go. But there's a nice samvada that happens between Krishna and Kaliya. Krishna actually tells Kaliya that, you know what, I don't have any problems with you. But you came and troubled my devotees. So you got this treatment. So don't take it too personally. And then, Kaliya goes away. And Srila Prabhupada in that purport in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu explains that Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita for 40 minutes. That's it. Just 40 flat minutes he spoke. And it happened, some 5,000 plus odd years now in the holy land of Kurukshetra. And till date, there are so many followers of Gita worldwide who are living their lives by this. Some call it law book, some call it a life book, some call it a war book. Many thousands and millions of devotees and practitioners of Sanatana Dharma follows Bhagavad Gita all around the world. And our world was Krishna when he spoke Gita. Does anybody know? No. 125 years he lived in this, he was present in his Prakata Lila. He was about 89 years old. But obviously he was in his Nitya Lila form. But his age, the amount of time, number of years he spent was 89 years. And he just spoke 40 minutes. Can you imagine? Somebody, some 5,000 odd years back, just spoke something 40 minutes. And here we are talking about it every single day, trying to learn from it and implement in life, and still will never get done. So that's the beauty of Krishna's words. Now a question arises, right? So you can ask as many questions as you like in this class. Even in between the class, if you have a question, just stop and ask. We'll have an open dialogue kind of a talk here, because somebody may ask this question that, oh, but Prabhuji, Arjuna had Krishna. So they could have a dialogue. And mind you, Gita was not planned. It was not a planned schedule that, okay, these 18 days of the calendar, sharp at 11 o'clock Eastern time, we will start Gita. Krishna did not announce like that. Right? He didn't say that, okay, I'll have a private tuition with you, Arjuna, please be present. Don't call anybody, don't tell anybody. It's a private. He didn't do. There was no such contractual agreements that had happened. So very open and spontaneous discussion that happened. Now imagine where we are. So somebody was asking that, hey, but how is it that, you expect that we will understand everything? Because Arjuna had Krishna. And it's a samvad, right? Every chapter says it's a Krishna-Arjuna samvad. There's a discussion that happened between these two great personalities. They were going back and forth. Somebody was asking questions, somebody was explaining. So it was nice. How do we understand all that? We don't have Krishna. Yes, he is there in the deity form here. But, he's not speaking to us for some whatever reason. So how do we understand? But what we have is, we have Krishna's true representative, as Srila Prabhupada here, who is available for darshan, and more importantly, through his books, through his tapes and lectures, and through his own loving disciples to whom he has taught these things. And through them, we have access to them. And through them, we will be able to learn Gita. Okay? So it is very important that we understand this, that we have to develop this quality of faith and surrender to be able to learn anything in life. That's the first lesson from this. So once there was this army soldier in European region, and he wanted to learn about Eastern religious philosophies, and he had his team of soldiers and so on. And he somehow was told that there are some soldiers who are following ISKCON, and they are aware of this Gita and whatnot. So he calls for them. Now, in military and army situation, what happens? The devotee soldiers, they got scared. They're like, oh my God, why have we been called? We are in Eastern European countries. Are we going to be, kicked out and things of that nature? So they came in front of, and then, there was back and forth. The major tried drilling that what exactly is going on. Do you know this? Do you know that? So they were reluctant. That should we answer? There's going to be no right answer, right? Whatever we say, we're going to be in trouble. But then eventually this major inquired that, no, I want to actually learn and understand this Eastern philosophy. The window of opportunity spotted by devotees then. So they gave Bhagavad Gita. And they said, this, so and so, so and so. They also asked for donation. They are like, you have to have Gita, but you please give us donation. And then he says, hey, but Krishna spoke Gita for free. So why is it that you are charging us? And what is the way smart? They said, Krishna spoke Gita for free in Kurukshetra. But we are talking in Eastern Europe, so there's some transport charge. So give us $50 for that. So that we can print more and distribute more. So the major got convinced with the argument. He took Gita, and then he put it aside. Much like most of us, whoever have distributed books, you would understand that we become happy when we distribute books. But then more important is the follow-up. That, hey, are you even looking at that book? Are you even sort of opening and reading through it? Are you learning? Do you have any questions? Or are you just waiting for it to be passed on to the next generation? So these devotees were very active. They started chasing and following up with the major. Like, hey, did you read it? Do you have any questions? So he just kept kind of pushing away. Long story short, multiple follow-ups. And then 3, 4, 5 months passed, and the major started feeling a little embarrassed. She started running away from these people. Whenever they would come, he'll like walk in the other direction. And then finally he was confronted, and he said, okay, give me another week or so and I'll read. She goes back and he starts to read, and he's like, this is, a little complicated for me to understand, so let me just go through. So he started reading only translations, just to make sense out of the connectivity. So he read through, and he thought, I'll not complete the whole book, let me at least read translations. So that I can go back and tell that, I've read. So exactly that happened. He started reading translations, and he was again followed up by his own team members. And he said, I've read, don't worry about it, now I don't have any questions. And so that night when he slept, mysterious enough, he got Srila Prabhupada in his dream. And there was a dialogue between them, and Srila Prabhupada said, have you read Gita? Have you read my Gita? I put so much energy in it. Have you read it? So he said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, I've read your Gita. Not that I'm understanding everything, but I have read it. And Srila Prabhupada said, don't speak lie. I know you have read only translations. And he was shocked. He's like, oh my God, what is happening? But then Srila Prabhupada very kindly says, you can try and read my purports also. My purports are my spiritual ecstasies. And that will give you a very clear picture of what Krishna expects. So Srila Prabhupada has put his life and energy in writing Bhaktivedanta purports. And it is up to all of us to actually take shelter of it and study it properly. And that day on, that major actually studied Bhagavad Gita full, in completion, not just translations. He read purports also. And he's actually an initiated disciple in ISKCON. So Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah. Now, this verse, it is very important. Let's talk about this verse in specific and a little bit prelude and thereafter. So what happens? We all kind of know the story of Gita in general. So the entire first chapter, Sanjay and Dhritarashtra are having a dialogue. Dhritarashtra is not able to see. I quite relate to him today. That, okay, tell me what is going on in the Kurukshetra. Are they fighting already? And then Sanjaya, the one who has the vision, the one who was empowered, was actually able to sit there and through some akashic measure, he was able to actually see. And then he was relaying that to Dhritarashtra. While all that dialogue is going on, and then comes the second chapter, and the explanation is given that yes, Arjuna was very discomforted, much like any of us, right? If we have to do something against our family members, It's not the most comforting thing to do. But their situation was a little bit superlative, right? It was like dharma versus adharma within the same family. So course correction had to happen. So that is where Arjuna is very, very confused and very disturbed and very hopeless and very helpless and almost like some of us, at least in this room. Does anybody feel like that at any time in our day-to-day lives? Okay, more hands are being raised. So we can relate to what Arjuna was going through, right? He was very, very helpless and hopeless, right? Why me? Why is this happening to me? Can't somebody else just fight that battle? Why do I have to kill my kinsman? Why do I have to kill my grandfather, for that matter? That arrow had to be shot just to make sure that dharma gets established. So he is obviously wanting to, what do we generally do? Okay, what we'll do today is, whilst we speak about the philosophy and understand, we'll bring it to our level and try to see the application as well. Okay? So, what is a natural instinct? Let's say if you are put in a situation which you don't like. What is our natural instinct? What would you like to do? Let's say if you're put in this room and it is extremely hot. We all are waiting for summer. But let's say if this was like 60 degrees Celsius. What would you do, Prabhu?
Try and find a way to cool it down.
Try and find a way to cool it down. If you are put in a very discomforting situation, Pratik, what would you do? The natural instinct is?
Ask for help.
Ask for help. Or, if it is in your control, you would?
Find a solution.
Find a solution. Simplest way is alter the situation. You try to change the situation. It's too hot here. Let me go out, catch up on some fresh air. It's too cold outside. Let me come in the temple. There's nice heating. What do? Our general instinct is to change the situation. Arjuna did exactly the same. He's like, oh Krishna, this is very difficult. I will not be able to do it. Let me just change my situation. Now, first principle of Gita. Krishna doesn't say, okay, don't worry, you my friend, you're my devotee, don't worry, I'll find for you. Like how the fathers do to their kids. Oh, you're not able to, don't worry, I'll show you how it is done. Let me show it, let me do it. Krishna didn't do that. First principle of Gita through this 2.7 is, Krishna does not change your situation, but he educates you enough so that you can change your own mindset and your attitude towards that situation. So when when Arjuna explains this, and we'll dig this, so we'll break this into, we have enough time to discuss. So what we'll do is we'll break this a little bit more. Now this is a very recurring theme in a lot of scriptures, if you notice. A devotee of the Lord will feel miserable, will go to the Lord never says, okay, don't worry, don't do it, or don't change the situation. He empowers and educates the devotee so that they are able to do it. Same thing happened in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kaviraj Goswami nicely explained that when Rupa and Sanatana Goswami wanted to meet Mahaprabhu, they said, we are so fallen, we know nothing, just please accept us, right? And humility is always shown. And what did Mahaprabhu do? Mahaprabhu again accepted them as disciples and guided that now you go here, go to Vrindavan, write scriptures, excavate holy places, do this, do that. They were instructed appropriately. So now for us, ordinary living entities, let us analyze Arjuna's situation. So I think most of us, I can't see too far, but I think most of us raised our hands saying at some or the other point in time in our lives we have felt hopeless or helpless. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I can at least hear properly. So I was thinking of Arjuna's position to be threefolded. How one must approach when you are in that position. So Arjuna's position is what we need to understand. And Arjuna's attitude after he was taught is what we should aspire for. Yeah, does that make sense? Arjuna's position is what we need to understand, because most of us, some or the other point in time, are going to be in that position. But Arjuna's attitude is what we need to aspire for and imbibe once Krishna initiated him. So what are the three aspects of Arjuna's position? Number one, the first thing that we must do when we are in trouble, which a lot of us are not able to do because of our ego. The first step is recognize and accept your frailties. Recognize and accept your frailties. What does that mean? Once you know the disease, it's easier to treat it, isn't it? Let's say for whatever reason a child is cranky. The mother can have a best fit idea. There are a lot of mothers here, right? You will have best fit idea of why the child is cranky. It could be the child has not eaten, or the child is troubled, or he has not slept, or one of those 3 or 4, top possibilities. So similarly, when you know of a disease, let's say I'm hungry. If I know that I'm hungry, then the first thing I can do is have some prasad and bring stability in my existence. What do we end up doing is, we live in denial. Things like, let's say, oh, that devotee was given more attention than me. That devotee said Hare Krishna to him, did not greet me. These subtle tendencies of being discomforted with whatever situation you are put in. The jealousy, I'm feeling jealous but I can't tell anybody about it. I am fearful but I can't tell anybody about it. And then we put up a mask. Because we are in a temple, we are with social gathering, or we are in devotees gathering. But what is happening? Are we progressing in life, in spiritual life? Most certainly no. Because we are unable to recognize and accept our frailties. Once you know of a problem, you can fix that problem. Like classic example I give many times, in late 80s, IBM, we all know IBM, right? The IT corporate multinational. We all may have used some laptop or something or the other from them at some point in time. Late 80s, they were in very, very bad shape. There was a lot of conflict within the organization. And one board member actually stood up in a board meeting and said, why are we not able to accept where we are? Only when we accept can we progress. If we keep covering it up, there will be no progress. So till the time we are going to keep covering things up, we will not progress in our spiritual life. Someday we have to get in front of Krishna, stand in front of Prabhupada, or stand in front of each other as friends, as God brothers, God sisters, and say that there is a problem in me, can you please help? That level of relationship has to be built, which is missing in communities, unfortunately. So that is first step. Let us recognize and accept our frailties. What is the second step thereafter? Very, very important. I almost introduced it, but I'll say it again. Have courage to ask for support. The day and age in which we are, it is very difficult to ask for that. Because then either you are perceived that you are weak, you're not able to do things by yourself, or there's that some inherent issue which doesn't allow us to open up. That, hey, can you please help me with this? Hey, can you please give me some support? I'm stuck with this. Hey, can you please guide me? I need some help. Just tell me how to do this. I'm stuck. I'm not able to chant. I'm not able to contribute. I'm not able to serve. I'm so stuck with my life. Can you help me? So have that courage to approach and ask for help. Arjun did that, right? He was such a great warrior. He didn't worry too much that, oh my God, for the time to come, people are going to laugh at me. That I'm the so-called best of the warriors, and then I am in a miserable state. Karpanya dosha, miserly weakness. Out of my miserly weakness, I'm crippled. I am so hopeless and helpless. Can you imagine what must be going on in Arjun's mind at that point in time? And people are getting inspired just by my name. And here I am on my knees. I'm not able to fight. I'm so helpless. But he knew that the best way to deal with the situation is that you must gather some courage and approach somebody superior for guidance. Do we do that comfortably? Don't have to answer that question. And if you're not, then this is the opportunity. Let us follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. We started the class by talking about how similar ours and his situation was. Now he has already done his job and he has achieved success. Problem is that we claim ourselves to be followers of Gita, followers of Arjuna, but we don't do anything that Arjuna did. We just keep living the way in which we want to live our lives and be nice on the face, just so that the society feels good about us. We need to break that shackle and do what Arjun did if we want true and deep spiritual success in life. So that's second thing. And then what is the third thing? Oh, this is very important. The third thing is have the right attitude to hear and implement the advice which is coming your way. Now, this is, in my opinion, this is the most important part. Let's hear it again. Have the right attitude to hear and implement. Most times what happens? Let's hypothetically role play this situation. Okay, so let's say Arjun went to Krishna and said, hey, like this, like this, like that, and he has this in his mind, right? Behind the scene, he wanted to change the situation. We spoke about that, right? He wanted to change the situation so that he doesn't fight. Imagine, he's a Kshatriya, he doesn't want to do his Swadharma, he wants to change the situation. Why? Because he doesn't want to kill his family members on a very external level. So in his mind, he has an answer of what he wants to do. He doesn't want to fight. He wants somebody to change the situation. So he goes to Krishna, and then Krishna, nicely, spontaneously speaks for 40 minutes, gives him Gita Gyan. And much like if we were there, it may be discomforting to hear. I don't want to do all this, So we may justify in our minds that, Krishna actually didn't understand. He didn't quite get what my point was. Let me go and try Balram. So then Arjun can go to Balram. Say, okay, at least Balramji will understand what I'm trying to do. Krishna didn't quite exactly understand my problem. And then Balramji says the same thing. And he's like, maybe Balramji is in different Leela mode, he's not able to come down to my level and understand. I think I should try Mother Yashoda. Because she is emotional. She will actually understand my problem. So then you can go to Mother Yashoda, and so on. So the learning from this hypothetical scenario is what? What do we do? When we seek, somehow or other, let us say, we accepted our problem, step number 1. Step number 2, we somehow or other gathered courage to ask for help. Step number 3, we went to a person, we asked for help. But then some or the other negative power in our head, what does it do? It convinces us that what you are speaking is great, but it's not applicable to me. Let me go and talk to somebody. I'll keep trying. Third, fourth, I'll keep going. Balramji, Yashoda Maiya, this, that. I'll keep going until I hear what I want to hear. Until I hear from somebody that, oh, so sorry. This happened to you. Don't worry. Don't pick up the book. Go to sleep. Everything will be fine. And then you feel, yeah, perfect. He's understood me. And I followed the 3 steps. Life is beautiful. How many of us do that? Don't have to realize. More often than not, we end up doing that. And that is the very reason we are again not able to progress in spiritual life. So very quickly again summarize these 3 points. First, we recognize and accept our frailties if we really want to progress in life. Second, we muster up some courage and seek for support and help. It's okay. You don't become small. Imagine Arjun did that. Then what is there to fear? And third is, please try to, when you are seeking for help, listen to that person and implement it. It's like this, right? Very simple example. You have a problem with your body, you are a diseased person, you go to a doctor. And doctor says, hey, okay, you take this green color medicine for your headache and you take this yellow color medicine for your stomach. I'm a non-medical, so please pardon my ignorance there. Take this yellow tab for your stomach. And you're like, no, this is not making sense. Let me go to somebody else. And then you waiting to get that good, sweet tasting homeopath circular balls. So until you get that, you will keep switching your doctor. Doesn't make any sense. Does it make sense? It doesn't make any sense. Because you are never going to get cured of your disease if you don't implement it. So please, as we approach, let's hear and let's implement it. And once you do that, the point I had written here was, stop looking for the answers that you want to hear. That is the final summary of these 3 points, that one has to stop looking for the responses that you want to hear. Listen to what the superior has to say so that you will implement that in life and make progress. So once Srila Prabhupada was on a morning walk with his disciples. And for those of us who have heard and read about Prabhupada, he loved going on morning walks. So he was on a morning walk and he was doing a nice talk. And he heard some screams from behind. So he turned and he saw one of his personal servants back then, Nanda Kumar, who was running frantically because he was being chased by a dog. Prabhupada saw there's a dog behind him, a huge dog. And then Nanda Kumar is running and the devotees are flying and everything is so disheveled there. And he came running to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, this dog is chasing me. What do I do? What do I do? So Prabhupada just turned to the dog. He took his stick, raised it like this above his head, and he said, "Hi!" And this was happening in the Western world. So maybe the American dog had not heard the Indian style of chewing away and just quiet down. He just sat down instantly. And the devotees were so impressed that, oh my God, Prabhupada knows how to handle dogs also. Now, what happens after that is some 3-4 years pass by and they are in Vrindavan. And Nanda Kumar is cooking for Srila Prabhupada. Not Vrindavan, I'm sorry. They were in Jaipur. And Nanda Kumar was personal servant of Srila Prabhupada back then. And he was cooking for Prabhupada. He was making rotis, we were making chapatis. And a monkey came. And a monkey came and he's like, okay, monkey is going to snatch my glasses. Do what? I don't know. And, the bulb lit up. He's like, okay, I know how to do it. I had seen Srila Prabhupada. So he took the rolling pan. And he said, hi! Nothing happened to monkey. Monkey put a pot and hit his head. And then he went away. Monkey doesn't, nothing happens to monkey, right? So then he was more perplexed. Perplexity. How many times that word is used in the purport, in this purport? How many times? We read at least 5 times in the first para itself, right? 4 or 5 times. So then he went to Srila Prabhupada and explained the whole story. And Srila Prabhupada said, see, what happens is, you saw me. So he tells Prabhupada, right? I did exactly the same thing. But it didn't work for me, it just worked for you. And Prabhupada says, very nice thing. He said, look, you saw me, but you didn't learn from me. Now, same point that we are trying to say. Don't keep trying to expect an answer that you want to hear. Try to clean up your slate and hear what the teacher is trying to teach you. Imbibe that in life and you will see the change. Just by copying, just by imitating, you are never going to progress in life. So how do we do it? So another example. So once, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they drew a painting of Lord Krishna. Some of you may have heard of this story before. So they painted Lord Krishna like this. Like this. So, and then they presented very nicely painted, but Krishna was like this. So they presented to Krishna. Curtain opens, Krishna. Prabhupada is like, whoa, what happened to Krishna? Has he gone bankrupt? Why is he like this? So then Prabhupada says, look, this is spiritual stuff. It's not material that somebody has run out of business and he's like this guy. Krishna can never be like this. Why is he like that? And lo behold, what happens? The devotees are petrified. The painter. And he goes like this. Oh my God, I can't show my face to Prabhupada. What did I do? Oh, this, all that. So Prabhupada, notice that. So he says, no, hold on a second. Actually, you have done a great job painting. We just need to change the caption because this is not the right pastime. The pastime is what Narad Muni speaks about. That once Krishna is headache. And then Narad Muni explains that and the gopis say, oh, no problem. Take dust from our feet. If that cures Krishna, we are ready to stay in hell for long. And before this, when devotees are actually, I missed saying that, devotees explained that, oh, why Krishna is like this? So they are saying in separation from the gopis. So then Prabhupada flipped it, saying, hey, this is actually a valid pastime when Narad Muni said, and then Krishna was actually having headache and then everybody became happy. So again, the point is, you listen to the advice given by a bona fide spiritual master, a teacher who's trying to teach you Gita, and then follow in life and you will see the change, right? So those are the 3 steps that we spoke about. Then let's see what do we have. So now we'll speak about, I have 3 things to talk about. This is the first part that we cover. The second part is the foundational philosophy of Gita. Okay? So what happens when in this 2.7, Arjuna is completely helpless, and he's, you know, the situation that he is going through, but then he looks up at Krishna, and he says, and Bhagavatam explains very beautifully, Shukdev Goswami explains that the beautiful face of Krishna was looked upon by Arjuna, and that face looks so beautiful. It is explained. It is Yasyananam makara kundala charukarna brajat kapola subhagam suvilasa hasam. Beautiful face of Krishna is explained. That his eyes are like lotus. He's wearing dancing fish kundals, the long earrings. He has that beautiful smile on his face, so on and so forth. There's a beautiful detailed explanation. We'll not go in details. There's a beautiful explanation given. And then Krishna starts to speak Gita. See, Krishna doesn't speak until 2.7. If you study it carefully, Krishna doesn't speak until then. Only after this verse, he actually starts giving the Sankhya philosophy, and then followed by karma, and then Ashtanga, and then eventually Bhakti in 12th chapter, and then so on and so forth. So whole Gita. Someday we'll cover the whole summary of Gita in a class. But in essence, he teaches all the entire Gita, which I am trying to summarize as 2 main pivotal principles on the back of 2.7. The first principle is, sorry demands a change. Hear carefully. Sorry demands change. And love, second principle, love demands action. Okay? So Gita philosophy is all about actions and consequences, right? You do this, you can do this, the karma, this, the yoga, this and that. Simplistically speaking, Arjuna is collapsed. He's like, sorry, I cannot do anything. What did we say? The first principle is, sorry demands change. So then he hears the whole Gita attentively. And then what happens? He doesn't look forward to changing his situation anymore. He picks up his bow, he picks up Gandiva, and starts to fight. And he fights like no way. And we'll explain about that fight in a few. But that sorry demanded change. When you change, what happens? You start doing certain things which acts as a proof that I have changed, right? Let's say you hurt somebody. You can say, oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't end there. Why is our sorries have very little to no meaning? Every festival, every time you go to temple, when darshan will open, half of the crowd on the hall will say, sorry Krishna, I didn't do this, sorry I didn't do that, I know I was supposed to do this, sorry I didn't do it, right? Many times we have said sorry to our relatives, our families, our friends, that oh sorry. But not all times that sorry held so much substance. We may have good intentions, but did we do any actions on it? Gita teaches us to do action. Gita doesn't teach us intention. That is Bhagavatam. Please understand, Gita is a book which teaches us how to act. It did not just give comfort to Arjuna that, oh come my dear, let me make you sleep, let me pat you. Krishna didn't do any of those. Krishna empowered him, educated him, that come on, get up and fight, you're supposed to do your dharma, bottom line. So he did that. So sorry demanded change. Arjuna changed, started fighting. What will that change result in? Certain proof points. Let's see if I did something wrong and I said, I'm sorry Prabhu. Only that is not going to be sufficient. Then I'll have to prove myself by acting upon it, right? When I act, I generate proofs. When the proofs are shown, what happens? Natural trust gets developed. That, yeah, he means it actually. It's not just lip service of saying sorry. There's actually substance behind that sorry. So proof is generated, which is yielding more trust between the two individuals. Please bring that Gita down to our levels in our lives, in our interpersonal relationships. Husband, wife, father, daughter, friends, godmother, god sister. Bring it to our level. Let us live Gita. Gita is not just for, Mokshada Ekadashi, okay, let us spend 5 hours, recite the whole Gita, start to end. Yes, we are supposed to do that. But most importantly, we are supposed to live Gita on a day-to-day basis. So where were we? We develop trust. When the trust is developed, we are naturally inclined to take more action out of love for Krishna. So love demands action. So first part, Arjun actually did that. He said sorry, but he introduced changes after he was taught. And then what happened? Because he naturally and spontaneously loved Krishna, he took action. What is that action? That action is not just our regular Newton's law, every action equal opposite reaction. That action is not just karma yoga, that I'll pick up kartal, I'll make them hit each other, make some sound. That's karma, right? I'm using, what is karma yoga? I use everything that is available around me to do something, to take action, as the lady said here, right? He took it to next level. He infused that with emotions for Krishna. Because when you love somebody, you will do that with emotions. Let us say chanting, classic example, right? I can take bead bag, put my hand inside, touch the beads. I'm using all my senses, if you notice, right? I'm touching my beads. I'm seeing my beads. I can smell my beads. But if let's say they are new fresh beads, they'll smell chandan, whatever. I'm using my sense of tongue. And I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It can very quickly become a very mechanical process. Then we tag that as a karma yoga. But when you infuse that with love for Krishna, it transforms into bhakti. So for my mathematical friends in the room, we have derived a very simple equation. Karma yoga plus deep emotion for Krishna equal to bhakti yoga. Very simple. So now what is happening? Because of that, Arjun actually loved Krishna. So he said, yeah, everything you said makes sense. Let me do it. He took it to that level. We are in 2.7. When we get to 12.9, it's a journey. Imagine from 2.7 to 12.9, Arjuna had achieved that sort of transformation. And in that transformation, what did he do? He started fighting. He fought like nobody else in the world for the time to come. He kept fighting so much so that even when the news about his son being dead came, he lamented. Natural, right? Very human emotion. When a father hears about son dying, he's supposed to cry. If he doesn't cry, he's not even a human. Forget about being a devotee. So he cried. But, see, Madhvacharya says this. Lamentation gives rise to roga. You know the word roga? Disease. Lamentation gives rise to roga. So if Arjuna had stopped with that news, that oh my son is dead, oh now life is useless, let me just stop, nothing is going to work, he just pauses, then he becomes a rogi. What did he do? He said yes, he had to lament. Lamentation time is given. See, that is where in our culture, those period of 13 days are given when somebody is dead in a family, right? You are supposed to lament. That's a human need. After that, what do? We can't keep lamenting at all times. We have to rise up, follow Arjun, and do our day-to-day swadharma. Do our services. You have to do, you have to earn your livelihood, take care of your family, do your devotional services. Most of us are grihastas. You have to follow that template of Arjun. So what did Arjun do? He lamented. But then he again continued. Now when you continue after lamentation, Madhvacharya beautifully explains that roga becomes yoga with Krishna. And what is yoga? We all have heard this term, yoga, right? Yoga means to unite. It's a union between the Lord and his devotee. In this context, Krishna and Arjuna. So he continued to fight, thereby rendering his devotional service, which is explained in 12th chapter, specifically 12.9. Now, what is the difference between Arjuna and Dronacharya? Dronacharya was his teacher, but he was playing on the side of adharma. Why? Just because his son was best friends with Duryodhana? But what did he do? Same thing happened. Similar situation. Dronacharya was also told by this apparent lie from Yudhishthira that your son is dead. Ashwatthama, the elephant, is dead. What happens? He completely gets succumbed to the bodily principle. Now imagine Acharya still gets succumbed to this bodily principle and collapses and gives up. Like, okay, life is done. And he knew that his son is Chiranjeev, a Jeev which is not supposed to die. There are a few, right? We all know. There's Hanumanji, there is Vibhishan. Similarly, Ashwatthama is also Chiranjeev. Jeev is the one who's not supposed to die. There are how many? Seven of them, right? So he knew that. Still he got succumbed. Why? Because he did not follow Gita. And that is where once Srila Prabhupada was challenged by a philosopher. And he said, exact this story. He said, actually, you know what, Arjuna cried. So that means, everything that Krishna spoke about Gita is not gone in, is not sunk in. And then Prabhupada gives this explanation about the Rogi and the Bhoga and the Yogi. So like that, we have to make sure that we come to a level where day to day we are going to be forced in these situations. Like it or not, right? We read also in the purport. Whether we like the fire or not, fire is going to be there. And what a classic example, recent past, right? Los Angeles fires. Some say conspiracy, some say natural calamity. Regardless, fire was there. Nobody wanted it. It was there. And millions and billions of dollar worth property was lost and whatnot. So whether we like it or not, bad situations are going to happen to each and every one of us. What did Arjuna do? Arjuna actually learned Matra Sparshas Kaunteya Shita Ushna Sukha Dukkata. He was equipoised. He's like, yes, I've lost my son. That's a bad thing to do. He lamented, but then he again stood up and again continued to fight. So, sorry demands change, and let me hear it. Love demands action. These are the two most foundational pivots on which the entire philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is residing. If we can be conscious and implement that, it'll be great. My last part is the crux of Gita. I actually wanted to, maybe some other day we'll speak the whole class on this. But I'll leave you with this chakra that we've created, the crux of Gita, a 4-step cycle of implementing Bhagavad Gita in our lives. You want to hear it or we are done on time?
We want to hear it.
Want to hear it? Okay. So the crux of Gita, the chakra, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a cyclic chakra that we have created. So first step is be present and have clarity. Be present and have clarity. Otherwise, what will happen? 2.7 again. Oh, hopeless, helpless, karpanya dosho, miserable, everything is bad, everything is over, the life is void and null, nothing exists. No, be clear and be present. What does it mean? So, simple example. Once Srila Prabhupada was in a gathering and he was supposed to speak, but he sent somebody else to speak. He said, no, you speak for once, I'll sit and listen. So the person went and he started speaking, Krishna, this, that, and he said, Krishna is inside his name. Just chant the name Krishna is present inside his name. And Srila Prabhupada is like, I have a question. Said, okay, question. So you said Krishna is inside his name. Where is he inside? Is he on the north side or on the south side? Where inside? Is he in Ka or Na or Ra? Krishna. Where exactly is he? So the speaker was obviously taken aback. He's like, what kind of question is this? I'm speaking about such a cool philosophy and Prabhupada is like killing. Then Prabhupada corrected. So it is not that complicated. It is very simple. Krishna is not inside the name. Krishna is the name. Krishna is the name. Krishna is non-different. Namakari Bodhani Jasavit. Krishna is non-different than his holy names. So you see what happens? When you study Gita, you get clarity. All this cloud of uncertainty and is it this, is it that, all that has to go away. It goes away only when you study. And when you study, you can be in the present. But what happens most times, most of us get stuck with this, right? That, I don't have time. I'm so busy. I have this problem. I don't have time to die. You know, the famous thing I hear these days, most people say, I'm so busy, I don't have time to die. Oh, the life is so routine that it has become so mechanical, so meaningless. I'm just waking up at 5, doing this, doing that, doing that. By the time I hit the bed, I'm done. So you're just living. It's like, how different is it than almost an animalistic life, right? You're just living for the sake of it. Can you please be present and do what you're supposed to do at a particular point in time? Now, for all of us who feel that we don't have time, we certainly have time. You've just made our right priorities. So the second step, if we come down, is actually spot the window of opportunity. There will be windows of opportunity. Darshan is not going to open all the time, but hey, if you show up at noon Eastern time, you will get to see the beautiful form of the Lord. You have to spot your window of opportunity. So rather than scrolling on Instagram reels, or watching an entire cricket match and things like that, spot your window of opportunity. There will be small openings, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Value that time, and you will become successful. So it is very important. Spotting the opportunity. How devotees are amazing, right? I'm sorry, I'm going to go. Is 5 minutes over, okay? 5-7 more minutes? 3 minutes. 3 minutes more, okay. Let's try to be quick. So in London, there was, Srila Prabhupada was with, in Radha Londoneshwar, doing the grand opening of the temple 40-50 years back. And nothing was done rightly, Jagannath deities were not fitting and it was a whole mess. And Prabhupada was like, do this, do that, and just get everything done. So he was getting a little bit heated up times. And there was one hippie, he didn't know who Prabhupada is. He tapped at Srila Prabhupada from behind. Srila Prabhupada turned and so he said, here, take beads, chant and be happy. Don't be angry. He told Srila Prabhupada. So he spotted a window of opportunity to preach. And Srila Prabhupada very gracefully took it and then continued the ceremony. So we need to learn this art of spotting the opportunity. Spot the window of your opportunity. When you do that, then what happens? Then you get the opportunity to put your best effort. Put your best effort. Even if you got, let's say, just 30 minutes a day to chant in that window, put your best effort. No mediocrity. Absolutely best effort. What is best effort? So once in, I think somewhere in India, Srila Prabhupada brought his initial batch of disciples. And he said, look at this Kaushalya Devi. She's just 23, 24 and she knows so much. She has arranged for such a beautiful festival. And the local cryptic Indian, the locals, not devotees, just the locals, they said, yeah, big deal, you can arrange big programs, but they don't know so much about Gita and all. Papa said, what are you talking? They know entire Upanishads. Come, Kaushalya, start reciting Upanishads. And she was shocked. She's like, what Upanishad? What do I say? And then she's like, yeah, okay, I know Ishopanishad. I've done my Bhakti Shastri. I know Ishopanishad, but I know only first 4 or 5 verses. And before she could think, Prabhupada said, start. So she started 1, 2, 3. By the time she's on 4, she's like, I'll spoil Prabhupada's name because I don't know anything after 4. But as soon as she finished 4, Prabhupada said, stop. Because you can chant 4, you can chant many more. There is no problem. You know way more. All you have to do is just put your best effort and keep learning. So that is our third step. And our last step before darshan opens is gain the sense of fulfillment. It is very essential. You will gain the sense of fulfillment only when you put your best effort. Right? Let's say if you just did something, did no seva, just a little bit here and there. Can you tell to your own self in the night that, yeah, I lived a good quality day? I don't think you can cheat yourself, right? Somewhere you will feel, yeah, I lived a very mediocre day today. But if you put your best effort, you will get that sense of fulfillment. See, yeah, I did something. So those are the 4 steps. And of course, then you repeat. So be present and have clarity, spot window of opportunity, put your best effort, and gain the sense of fulfillment. When we do that, what happens? We start to follow in the footsteps of Arjuna, and then only Lord Krishna's mercy will come through his pure representatives and through his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanand. Thank you.
निवास लक्ष्मी नृसिंह भगवान की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
गोविंद आदि पुरुषा गोविंद आदि पुरुषा
Buddha